Glazing inside doors and next to doors. Those are typical locations that we would need tempered glazing. Anything that's in a door, except for a small little window, is going to need to be tempered. And if you're buying it as a unit, it's already going to come tempered. You go to any of the box stores and you buy a pre-hung door, you buy an exterior door, it's already got glazing in it or glass, it's going to be tempered. A sliding door, it's going to come tempered. You should be good to go in those particular situations. It's going to be the windows that are installed next to doors that could be in question. Now maybe you've got some side lights, right, that are right next to the door, but it's still part of the unit. It should be tempered, but it will be labeled, right? Like we talked about in the very first video, any tempered glazing has to be etched, stamped, marked some way so that it is identified as tempered glazing. So if you're buying a whole unit, involves side lights, it should already be in there. But let's talk about maybe you putting a window in and it's next to a door. Well, does it need to be tempered? Well, let's look. Let's look at the code and see what it says. So glazing indoors. So glazing in fixed or operable panels of swing sliding bifold doors shall be considered to be hazardous location. Like I said, it should already come that way. There is one exception, and that would be glazing in openings, glazed openings of the size through which a 3-inch diameter sphere is unable to pass. So if you had a 3-inch ball and you try to put it through the glass and it won't go, it does not need to be tempered. You're not going to find this most often in a residence, but in like a doctor's office or something, you might see those little side light pieces of glass that are in the door where you could like peek in and just see if someone's in there or something. And then obviously decorative glazing. So if you've got some stained glass that's in a door, maybe you do have a situation like this. You've had this beautiful piece of door that's been built and it's got stained glass in it. Well, it does not need to be tempered. But let's talk about adjacent to doors. So glazing in an individual fixed or operable panel adjacent to a door shall be considered to be a hazardous location where the bottom exposed edge of the glazing is less than 36 inches above the floor or walking surface, and it meets either of the following. It says where the glazing is within 24 inches of the side of either side of the door in a closed position, or where the glazing is on a wall that's less than 180 degrees from the plane of the door in a closed position. There are some exceptions. Again, it gets into decorative glazing. If there's an intervening wall, and or if you're next to it, or if the door is a closet and the closet's only 3 feet deep. So if there's a closet, you're getting ready to walk in a closet, there's a window right here or right here, it's within 2 feet, but it's a small closet, it does not need to be tempered. But at the end of the day, the bottom line is if you're looking at a door and it's in a closed position and you can set your tape right on the door and you can run a 180 degree arc on either side of the door, so either side, not just the lever side, but the hinge side, if you can hit glass and it's within 5 feet of the ground, it needs to be tempered. So that's a pretty easy one to cover. So here's the door, I got my tape, 24 inches. I'm going to measure from each side of the door in the closed position. So go from the knob side, go from the hinge side, I'll run an arc. Maybe I've got a sidewall right here, but it's got a window in it. Well, that's within that 180 degree arc, and if I can measure 24 inches or less, then it needs to be tempered. So let's look at a few pictures. So here would be a situation on this picture right here. You can see where the door is in a closed position. I measured from this side 24 inches. I'm measuring 60 inches up. It's within that realm. This particular piece of glass should be tempered. So let's look at a plan view. So right here, so we have windows A, B, and C. So these two windows, so we're measuring from the hinge side, 24 inches or less, so it's only 23 inches. Now we're measuring from the hinge or the lever side, it's less than 24 inches. These two, if they are within 60 inches of the ground, need to be tempered. This particular window is over 24 inches. So it does not need to be tempered regardless of how high it is above the ground. So on your elevation view here, you can see same thing, right? You're within 24 inches. We're within 24 inches or less, 24 inches or less, and you're within 60 inches. So if for some reason this was like a single hung window and only the bottom lifted up, well, this top part, if it was over 50 or over 60 inches, 5 feet, it does not need to be tempered, only the bottom part. So that's kind of a quick rundown on safety glazing next to doors. So that kind of covers the 4 components if you watched all 4 videos on where to look for safety glazing. As an inspector, I see it all the time. Even installers and window manufacturer companies that install, they'll go out and they'll miss something. And it's just part of it. But usually they'll come out and they'll just replace the glazing and leave the window since it's been installed. They've done all that work, or you've done all that work. You've trimmed it out, you've protected it, you've sealed your window, got all your trim in there, and you're like, oh, I don't want to put in tempered glazing. I don't want to have to tear my window out. So sometimes we'll just replace the glass. Keep in mind also that there have been particular situations where people want to use film. If you use like a third aftermarket film, check with your building department, because it does not come with any type of stamp on it, right? Tempered glazing has to be stamped, etched, marked, has to be permanent mark on there, so you know. Well, just putting some film on there is not gonna tell you that. So make sure you check with your building department before you go that route. But hopefully you didn't get there. Hopefully you watch these videos and you know exactly what you need to order, and you order it right and put it in right the first time, and all is good. So here we go. Have a good one.